Welcome to the Cosmic Series from the XFO Intelligence Podcast channel. Today, we dive into the long view, navigating a world at the edge of transformation, here in June 2026. We live in a moment that feels both ordinary and extraordinary. Every day, headlines churn through familiar rhythms: geopolitical tensions, technological breakthroughs, climate anomalies, economic shifts. But beneath all that daily noise, a deeper, more profound reordering is taking place, reshaping how humanity relates to time, complexity, and ultimately, itself. Let's talk about the story we're living inside. For most of human history, our stories were local, rooted in ancestors, founding myths, or conquests. Time was measured in generations. But after a century of scientific discovery, we now live inside a bigger story, one that began 13.8 billion years ago, with energy and matter forming stars, elements, planets, and life. We humans are not mere observers of this story. We are now key participants in its most uncertain chapter. One of the most bewildering aspects of this moment is that the pace of change has stopped being linear. Technology that seemed like science fiction just a few years ago is now everyday reality. Climate patterns that used to shift over centuries are changing within a single generation. We may be approaching multiple tipping points at once. These are moments in the deep history of complexity when everything reorganizes at once. The question we face is not whether change is coming, but whether we can recognize the shape of this transition while we're living through it. We're driving forward, but we lack the instruments we need. Our minds evolved to track immediate threats and opportunities, things like a rustle in the grass. We're less equipped to see slow-moving dynamics like ocean acidification, the gradual erosion of trust, or the compounding of knowledge across centuries. These slow variables, though, matter more than we realize. They define the boundaries of what's possible. So, what does wisdom look like in an age of acceleration? It may not require more data, but better lenses. There are a few principles we can follow. Think in layers of time. A decision that makes sense this quarter could look different across a century. Watch for quiet signals, those subtle shifts or feedback loops that might unlock a threshold. Prioritize viability over maximization. More is not always better. And treat knowledge as infrastructure. The ability to share and refine understanding across cultures is crucial. Finally, hold identity lightly and purpose deeply. Ask what greater story your actions serve. This will not be easy. It means holding complexity without paralysis, acting with urgency without panic, and cooperating across differences without erasing them. But the same capacities that got us here, curiosity, cooperation, and the drive to understand, can help us navigate what's ahead. We are the first species to see a planetary transition coming. That's both a burden and a gift. It means we can choose how to respond. So here's a question to carry forward. What would change if we acted not just for today, but for the story that will be told 100 years from now? We have the tools. We are building them in every choice we make. If you found this episode thought-provoking, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the XFO Intelligence Podcast channel. We'd love to hear your feedback. Email us at xfointelligence@gmail.com. And if you're curious about our new Thought Leadership on Demand service, feel free to reach out. And now, a brief disclaimer. The views expressed in this podcast are intended for informational purposes only and do not constitute professional advice.